Well, hello. For anybody new here, I'm Kim and you're watching the Coffee and Craft podcast, where I drink coffee, unsurprisingly, and I chat about running a handmade business and I keep you company while you work or craft. And today we are going to be talking about YouTube, which is a bit better, and I've just realised I've forgotten to turn the light on. One moment. Oh, I don't like this light. It's very yellow, but it's very dark and gloomy and stormy outside, so yellow light it is. We're going to be talking about YouTube today, specifically about why YouTube may or may not be a good fit for you if you are also using it as an income stream and a way to promote your handmade business. There must have been an easier way of saying that, but that's what we're talking about today. This podcast, this is actually my second attempt at recording it. It quickly turned into a very chunky monkey, so you might want to save this in your watch later playlist in case you can't watch it all the way through. We're going to cover, what are we going to cover? We're going to cover monetize. We will if I can say it. We're going to cover the ways to monetize your channel. Basically ways that you can use YouTube to bring in some revenue, not just ad revenue, but how you can use it alongside your business. We're also going to be talking about the pros and the cons and reasons why YouTube might be a good fit for you and why it might not be. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I put a shout out on the community tab here on this YouTube channel, asking if anybody would like to know anything. Some of the questions that were put to me were questions that I've answered in previous videos on this topic. So I have got a playlist and I'll link to it at the end of this video. And also because I thought a question and answer style might be a bit boring. So basically I'm going to answer some questions within this video, and anything that I don't answer, it's because I think I've already answered it in previous videos, and as I say, I'm going to link to the playlist so that you can watch more afterwards if you would like to. Okay, let's crack on with the big beastie, monetization. Well, you probably know that in order to put ads, no, that's not strictly true. In order to get a cut of the ad revenue from the ads put on your videos, you need, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, which that's the tricky one. 1,000 subscribers, relatively easy to get to with time. The watch hours though, that takes time. But you have a year to do it, so no pressure. But basically, it doesn't mean that every video that you watch that has ads on it is monetized, because YouTube place ads not just before and after videos, but in the middle of some videos of creators, even before they're monetized. Oh, good grief. I don't mind YouTube putting ads before and after, but for me personally, if they are putting ads in the middle of a video, I do think a creator should be getting paid for that. But I'm going off topic. My point is, not many people know that, so they automatically think that if they see a video with ads in the middle, it's because the person's monetized and they've put them there. Not always the case. That is monetization on YouTube as we know it. There are other ways though. They have also recently-ish, within the last year or so, if you get 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours of watch time, which is still a lot, you can use some of the other monetization tools. So you still can't get a cut of the ad revenue, but you can, if you have, for example, a Shopify website, you can link your shop to your YouTube channel and you can promote those products within videos. I don't do that. I'll probably swing back to that later, but essentially it's because this channel is not a good fit for my product-based business, but I only link it here so that people can see my website, and it's social proof, basically, to prove that I am a handmade seller. But yes, I'll come back to that because it's also about knowing your ideal customer / viewer, and the viewers, yourselves, aren't necessarily the same as my ideal customer for my product-based business. But like I say, I link it here because social proof. Ad revenue fluctuates and varies niche to niche, video to video, day to day, year on year, it's like this. So ad revenue shouldn't be your end goal. It's a nice to have, but I wouldn't recommend anyone focuses on that alone for their YouTube income, because it's hairy if you do that. I'm just gonna make room for my coffee. Oh. So yes, ad revenue is a great to have, but I would try and focus on creating some sort of revenue from your YouTube channel that doesn't include ad revenue, because that's just a bit more less scary. It's less scary. Now, some of the ways that you can make money without relying on ad revenue, the obvious ones are things like sponsored content, gifted products, and what's the other one? Affiliate links. I did dabble with that last year, not my cup of tea, so I sacked it off. Mainly because I don't personally feel that I want to spend my time and my energy promoting other people's companies, products, that kind of thing. I want to promote my own business, products, that kind of thing. I was going to say companies. I don't have companies. And that's the perspective that I'm going to be talking about in this video. Excuse that click, that's my light. It's ancient, such as myself. And if you see me looking down here, it's because I have bullet points to try and keep me on track and help me get through this. Like I said, this is my second attempt at filming. You can obviously go down those routes that I've just mentioned, but they tend to be a better fit for people who want to be, dare I say, influencers. I do not want, so I don't. Now, I've mentioned that you can use YouTube to promote your business and link to your shop. That doesn't necessarily just need to be if you are monetized to that level. You can have 5 subscribers and still do that. It just looks different. So, for example, I used to just stick in my Etsy shop when that was all I had in the description, and if I was I would show people my products and I'd talk about them, and I'd just go, there's a link in the description. You won't find a link to my Etsy shop in the description because I only promote my website. I do have an Etsy shop and you can find it. But the added bonus to sharing your links is that it's another way to take advantage of Etsy's, what do they call it? The share and save, where you get a percentage off of the transaction fee. So YouTube can be quite beneficial for that. Also, if you have products where you need to show the customer how to make the thing, for example, if you're selling kits of some description, a how-to video that goes with the products, well, it's a no-brainer, and they marry together perfectly. You've got YouTube promoting your shop and your shop promoting your YouTube channel. And lastly, it's a really good platform to grow a community around your business, because not only can you show up, talk to your community, show them your products, share the links, etc., but you can actually get in the comments and talk with them as well. And as well as doing things like live streams, if you are so bold, which means you can talk to them in real time. Okay, so let's jump into the pros of having a YouTube channel. Obviously, these are all from my own personal experience or my opinions, but I think one of the best things about it is that it is such a good platform to talk to your customers, to your viewers, and to be able to communicate things like your beliefs or your non-beliefs. For example, here on this channel, my beliefs are that you don't have to be a starving artist. You can make money from your work, from your products, and it can be a viable business. We are not all hippies at the flea market. And my non-beliefs, well, things that I don't stand for. I think some of you know this off by heart now. The business bros who sell mass-produced tat in the handmade category and filter off everybody else's hard work. You've heard me ranting, you know what my non-beliefs are. And this is the perfect platform to communicate that with your ideal customer or your ideal viewer, or both if they are the same person. Mine tend to not be. I tend to have ideal customers on my other channel and ideal viewers here on this channel, because I do everything weirdly. But it works, so I digress. Linked to that is that it's a great place to ask questions of your customers if you want to know more about them and the things that they like and their challenges. And running an online business or a business from your home, it can be a lonely business. So having somewhere where you can build a community and talk to them, I've said it before, it's worth its weight in gold, because it helps with the loneliness factor, which may not be a motivational point for you, but oh, it's one of the best points. And I have found that although it's not what I got into YouTube for, it's what has kept me here. It's a very big reason of why I'm still here. Just that community element, it's so good, so good. Just makes you feel like you're not alone. Another pro is that it has some of the best moderation tools I've come across. So for a lot of people who are worried about negative comments, negative people, or just dealing with them, I find that I get the fewest amount of negative comments, etc. here on YouTube. But YouTube is fantastic. So if that is a concern for you, it's very good. This is a major one. This is a major pro. Your videos are evergreen, which means they can be picked up at any time. I've had videos that were picked up a year after posting, even 2 years after posting. It never ceases to amaze me that if a video does well, or even if it just bombs to begin with, it doesn't mean that it won't pick up later on once the algorithm has found the right person for it. But I've even made videos where it just wasn't the right time, and then later on a trend sort of emerged, and then my video was the perfect fit for the people who were following this trend. You don't get that on social media. On social media, I usually find that if your content has a few days shelf life, you've done well. Here, it's years, which means it's worth the time and the effort you put in. It's also, this is another pro, the high tide that raises all ships, because I get people following me on Instagram from here. I get people coming over to my website from here. I get people finding me on Etsy from here. And I don't post any links to my Etsy shop anymore. I promote my website only. And my first 2 or 3 biggest search phrases for my shop are variations of my shop's name, which is Beechtree Handmade, because people are trying to find me there. It is a slow burner. It does take time, but it's worth it because the results are more solid. They just mean something. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. They're just more stable than any kind of results that I've seen on places like social media. The analytics, oh my gosh. Okay, this might be me nerding out again, but the YouTube analytics are amazing. I mean, think of the analytics that you get on Etsy, and then think of the complete opposite. All of the information you could possibly need, and more. Another pro, I'm nearly at the end, I promise. You don't need to have TV production quality. I'm going to mention a YouTuber very quickly, just to give you an example. He's popping off at the moment. His name is Sam Sulik, and I kept hearing his name crop up, and I heard it again the other week. So I went over to his channel to see what all the fuss was about, and the content that he's making is very... It's phone. It looks like he's just picking up his phone and he's just filming. He's not fussing about all of the bells and whistles or making it polished. He's got a pretty basic mic, I think. But people are tuning in and they're watching his videos because he's just making good content. And we're at this amazing time, I think, at the moment. I don't know if it's online in general, but it certainly seems to be the case here on YouTube. Whereas the loud, shouty, polished Mr. Beast style videos are... people are craving something a bit more. They're craving a bit of real authenticity. I hate that word, but you just need a bit more. And I think with this guy's videos, they're real. If you go and have a look, you'll see what I mean. And he has, what was it, 3 million followers at the time of filming? So if you're worried about video quality, don't worry. To be fair, I think it's sound quality that matters more than weirdly video quality. And also just rocking up and having something to say. That is not a problem I suffer from. Knowing when to shut up, that's, well, challenge. Not even kidding. I've got a timer here on my phone because I just... You don't need a huge following though. You just need to know who you're speaking to and to make content for the right people. That's what he's doing, and that's why he's grown as fast and as well as he has. It always comes back to your ideal person. Think of them, tell stories, share your work or your process or your behind the scenes or just a bit of your day, share your personality. You can be as creative as you want. YouTube is a playground. And just to hammer home the quality thing again, I built my channel with this here phone and a cheap lav mic I got off of Amazon. So if I can do it, you definitely can. All right, okay, going to put my coffee down because we're going to talk about the cons. And there are a few, I'm not going to lie. Okay, number one, it's a job like anything else, and the people who tend to be the most successful at it are the people who take it seriously. Now, just a quick note on that, because someone did ask about the work involved and the time. Consistency is key in growing a YouTube channel, I believe, not frequency. So if you can't rock up every week, don't worry about it. I didn't at the beginning. I think I aimed for once a month, and then when I had a bit more time, I aimed for once a fortnight, and now I do once a week. But you don't need to do that. It's not the frequency, it's not having a set day and a set time that builds channels. I have a set day and a set time that I post my videos. That's for me, because if I didn't, they wouldn't get done. But YouTube doesn't work that way, so you can post them any time of the week, any day, it doesn't matter. It's mainly just showing up consistently, and I know that word has been used to death, but again, if you just sort of think about it's building up a routine so that people can start getting used to seeing you turn up regularly and then trusting that. What the biggest turn off for me as a viewer is when I see people showing up regularly and then they just disappear for God knows how long, and then they just pop back up and it's like, I'm over it. It's a weird thing, but you need to see people. And as I say, the frequency isn't important, it's just the consistency. So whatever you can do with whatever time you have, just do that. And if that's just once a month, that's perfectly good enough. That's all I do on my other channel, which is much smaller, is not monetized, and I just aim for one video a month. And it's growing. It grows slower than this one, because this one I'm showing up more frequently, but growth is growth. Alright, the other con for me, and this is a big one if you stay in the game long enough, is coming up with new ideas and new topics week after week after week. I'm bringing this up because somebody did ask a question about how to try and think about their content in terms of their business without using ads, which was a good question. And the way I come at it is, I mentioned this in the course, these are two words that make me laugh every time I say them. They're not my words, by the way, but they make the point. There are two types of content that you can use. That's retailtainment, which is where you've obviously got a thing that you want to sell, like here is my thing, but you're wrapping it in entertainment. That's really bad. And the other one was edutainment, which I guess is what umbrella I fall under. Education and entertainment. I hope you feel that I am providing that. The point is there has to be more in it for your viewer than just the thing. If you're just trying to promote your product or your service or your whatever, there has to be something else in it for the viewer. So you've got to not think about it in terms of what's in it for you, but what's in it for them. Why should they watch your video? Why should they watch you? Why should they subscribe? That sort of thing. Remember, no, I've forgotten it. What was it? Retailtainment and edutainment. Another con is energy. You can't fake it, and it does take energy. It's just like having a conversation with someone. And if you're not feeling it, if you're rocking up and you're feeling tired or just mopey, that does tend to come across. And I do find that when it comes to editing and just making the video, the whole process, I enjoy it more when my energy is a little bit higher than when I feel like, come on, let's do this. And there are days like that, unfortunately. I do, because I've got so much time to do these, I have the advantage of being able to push my filming days back a little bit and just doing something else instead. The trouble is that my business is basically split between three things: my course, my channel, and my product-based business. So it's not like I have the entire week to spend on this channel. And the energy issue can be an issue. But yeah, you can't fake it. You can't just rock up and pretend to be all happy when you're not, because people feel that. You feel that in here. So yeah, I'd say that's a con. But if you don't have to make a video, then the simple answer to that is don't. I often don't do that. For example, at the time of filming, it's Friday. I usually have the video filmed and edited before now, but my daughter has been ill off school, and the weather has been awful, and I just wasn't feeling it. So I didn't. I left it until to the end of the week, which feels a bit weird for me. But I feel better for it, and I hope that comes across, that I just feel a little bit more perky. I don't know if I can do perky. Sarcasm is my default setting. But you get my drift. I really hope you do, because that's a thing. Editing is another con. It's another skill to learn, I'm afraid. Although if you are brave enough to do live streams, that takes that problem completely away, because you just have to show up, do the live stream, and job's a good one. However, the way I show up and speak, I have to edit. So live streaming is a hot mess, and editing was a skill that I had to learn. Still learning. Another con, thumbnails. I have a love-hate relationship with thumbnails. There is a certain kind of thumbnail that does well here on YouTube, and that is another skill to learn. And I think I'm treading the balance okay with regards to making thumbnails that people want to click on without going full-on clickbaity. But it's a fine line, and the thumbnails that I have to make for these videos are not necessarily the thumbnails that I would choose to make for these videos, and I think a lot of people find that very quickly. It's another skill to learn. As is the next con, which is yet another skill to learn, and that's titles. Titles and thumbnails are two very important things that you need to learn how to do well, so that people will find your videos and click on them instead of choosing everybody else's. I can't say it any better than that, and it's a con. And the next con is the video ranking metric in YouTube Studio. YouTube Studio is sort of like their app that you can use to maintain your YouTube channel. You can upload videos from it, etc, etc, and it's what I use to respond to comments. And whenever you turn it on, you've got your dashboard, and before you couldn't not see it. It was right there. It was like a ranking score from 1 to 10 of your 10 recent uploads, and it was just heartbreaking. If you put a lot of time and effort into a video and it was like 10 out of 10. Luckily now they've changed it so that you can hide it if you want to, and hide it I do, because it can be a bit crap for your mental health unless things are flying, but sometimes even that can be a bit scary to see. So I tend to hide them, and then I'll dip into it a couple of days after I post a video, just to sort of see roughly on the scale where it lands and if it was a good video or not, and then I hide it again, because other than that you really don't need to wallow in it. Which brings me to the last con, and that is analytics, which I know I mentioned in the pro section. They are amazing, but there's just so much. You can really lose yourself in it. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube about how this metric works, and you need to focus on this metric to get seen, and this metric will help you grow your channel. And what I've discovered ultimately is that it sounds really wishy-washy, but connections and building a community and being prepared to be ever the student and patience combined is what grows a YouTube channel. I mean, there are things that can help you skyrocket your growth, but even then, I mean, growth for growth's sake isn't enough unless you're speaking to the right people. So I would rather have slow growth and attract the right people than and then attract the wrong people. And I've been there. That can hurt your channel long term and your business. So I will choose slow and steady every time. All right, so those are the pros and the cons. Let's dive into why YouTube might be a good fit for you. Well, if you enjoy making videos, or you at the very least feel pulled to give it a go. You have some time to dedicate to it, that's obvious but necessary. You enjoy being online. If you enjoy being online, then obviously it could be a good fit for you. But if you don't enjoy being online, then obviously not. And linked to that is that you like talking to people online. Now, this isn't a prerequisite, but if you want to build a community around your business, then talking to people online is kind of a given. So yeah, you got to kind of enjoy it. I'm quite lucky in the sense that I love it. And that's kind of linked to the last reason why it might be a good fit for you, and that is essentially that you're not just in it for the money. I know that we all want to build a business and get paid for our work, but there has to be more of a reason to help you, if for no other reason than to help you with the motivation to keep showing up week after week, month after month, or whatever you choose to do. Yeah, you need a reason to stick at it when things get tough or you're just not in the mood. On the flip side to that, YouTube is probably not a good fit for you if you don't like the idea of making videos. That sounds obvious, but you would be surprised how many people feel that they should have a YouTube channel and not necessarily that they want one. Another seemingly obvious one is if you just don't have the time. You might really, really want to start a channel, but if you don't have the time, it might not be the best time, because it does take time. That's a lot of times, but you get my drift. Another reason why it isn't such a good fit is if you have absolutely no idea what you're going to talk about. And this is going to sound like a dig, but I promise you it's not. But if you don't want to learn any new skills, YouTube would be a complete headache. So for your own sake, don't worry about it, because there are a lot of new skills to learn. It can feel overwhelming. It's not that bad because you don't have to be the best, but you do have to be open to learning new things a lot. Okay, well, if you've reached this part of the video, then congratulations. I told you it was a chunky one. And two, if you're still not sure whether or not YouTube is a good fit for you or not, simply ask yourself this question. Do you feel pulled towards creating videos for YouTube, or do you feel pushed? And what I mean by that is, do you feel like you want to make videos, or do you feel like that you should make videos? If it's more the former rather than the latter, then I would say that's a good sign that you do want to make videos and you should give it a go. Don't worry about feeling fear, because I think you're going to feel fear no matter which side of the coin you land on. There really is no better way of figuring out if it's for you and if you're going to enjoy it than by just jumping in and making some videos. And don't worry about being scrappy and not knowing what you're doing. Hello. Years in, I'm still scrappy. I still haven't got a clue what I'm doing, but you guys seem to like it. So if I can do it, I really do mean it. You can too. You know what I'm going to say, or you should do. Done is better than perfect. And lastly, don't overcomplicate and overthink things. It's YouTube, it's not rocket science, and it should be fun at the end of the day. The only way to find out if it's for you is to jump straight in and see if you like it. A phone, a cheap lav mic, and an idea. That's all you need.